Sabah al khair, Doha. Salaam alaikum and good morning to you all. Welcome to the 74th episode of the weekly virtual Big B Meetup, Qatar's popular community outreach initiative founded in 2018. And in 2020, the pandemic brought about its virtual and virtual real editions. It aims to educate, to inform, to inspire, and bring communities together. It is inspired by the people of Qatar, both local and expatriate, and dedicated to my mother. Today, we celebrate Global Wellness Day on our The Wellness Mentality episode. We all need wellness in our lives, now more than ever. Thus, we play host to a wonderful young Qatari wellness guru and medical scientist with a lovely smile, Dr. Aisha Al Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum assalam. Thank you so much for this lovely introduction and for hosting me on your
You're
show.
welcome. You're welcome, Doctor. Uh, Please, could you introduce yourself to our guests, Doctor?
Well, my background is basically as a medical scientist. So I've got a PhD in pharmacy and pharmacology with specialism in neurodegenerative diseases and cardiovasculature. My academic background is that I'm talking about. Also, regenerative medicine as masters and biomedical sciences as bachelors. In addition to that, I'm one of those people who are basically driven to learn. I've got an insatiable appetite for learning. So, alongside my studies, I ventured into different activities, different studies. So, I've also got qualifications in sports, nutrition, management, disaster management, got into psychology. So, it's a lot of diverse issues that led me to these things, which was my life stories and events that happened along the way. So at this moment in time, I'm more of helping and empowering individuals in our society to overcome their pain, their problems, and in a better, manageable way, understand themselves better, and got into this field. One of the reasons I actually stopped going and continuing my path was I realized when you have a tap that is open and you see people just mopping the floor to take the water away, this is usually what we do in let's say in the scientific medical field. We're actually treating symptoms most of the time, not going back to the root causes of the problem. And I realized the root cause of the problem starts with thoughts and thinking. Most diseases starts like initiates in thoughts and thinking, and I realized, oh, this is where I need to probably, that I asked myself the questions, where do I want to spend most of my energy and life and time in. I realized actually helping, going towards the mind and understanding more, and basically helping people in that way from my own experiences. I'm not saying I'm a psychologist. I'm more of a therapist, more of someone who's in the personal development fields, who invested a lot of time, money, learning from the best around the world, and actually bringing this forward to help my community and to help people, including my own family, because usually starts with family. That's basically, that sums up what I am, where I am in life, and what I do. So basically, I'm more now what I call myself as a growth mindset, a mind growth strategist and breakthrough. So I help people break through their problems, issues in their life to get a better, become a better versions of themselves. That's basically it.
Lovely. It's a bit of a change for you, isn't it? Where you are
Yes.
more of a listener. Now you're on the show. You are talking more than you're listening, and it's
Mm.
the same thing for me. I'm a bit of a talker, and now I'm going to listen to you because I want to listen more and more about you. Doctor, you have so many titles. Can you run by at least a few with us? And how did you get about? How did you get them? How did you accomplish those amazing titles that you have?
Thank you. See, my mom is one of the most, my main advocate towards learning. She never said you should never stop learning. You should keep going and start learning and everything. So I always had that from a young age, and it never stopped me because I always wondered, all these, old philosophers, all the Greek and even the Arab, like scientists and philosophers,
Like
they
Marcus Aurelius.
never, yes, and they never limited themselves to a particular field. They were philosophers, doctors, or physicians, mathematicians, all in one person. So I was like, why am I limiting myself? Just because it's a stereotype in our society that you need to stick to one field or to one area. Like if God gave me the ability to explore more, to learn more, why should I limit myself? So I never had the mentality, oh, I should stick to one thing. If I liked something, if I wanted to learn something, um, that the good thing is every time I had a problem, I went there, I went to took a course about it and learned about it to solve it.
Wow.
And to be honest, the reason it I got into this path, I struggled a lot as a child. I've been through trauma myself. I struggled with eating disorder. I struggled with chronic depression for a long time. I had social anxiety. I hated being with people. Now I'm the opposite, but like before, because it was very, very low self-esteem and confidence. I was suicidal at some point. But all of these stages in my life led me towards something. But the only thing that kept me going was this thought pattern of, you might know the answer now, but there is always an answer to every problem. All you need to do, your next step is to just keep looking for the answer.
Can you
Never
repeat
give
that?
up.
Can you repeat that? It's a beautiful sentence, powerful.
So I used to tell myself every time I was down, every time I had this, I went to really, really downhill, mentally, emotionally, everything. I used to tell myself, you know what? For every problem, there is an answer. You just don't know it yet. You just have to keep looking for the answer. This is what you need to do. So that kept me going and kept me learning, kept me not giving up, basically. And every time in terms of the health, for example, I struggled a lot all my life. Even though I was in the medical field, I was in the scientific field, I always struggled, and that came back to my subconscious mind. But then I discovered that later on. But because of that, I ended up going into thinking I had a very big weight issues, which I still struggle with, but now I'm much better than before. That pushed me to actually learn more about nutrition, understand more about. I went first to sports, did it a lot. I got into, as you mentioned earlier, went to kickboxing, rugby. I did
Wow.
weightlifting at uni. So got me into sports like hardcore, but then still I was still having the binge eating episodes. I still had this whenever I'm alone, whenever I'm bored, whenever there's some problem, I always resorted to food, and I feel like, okay, what is it? What's the problem? Why do I keep self-sabotaging? I realized maybe I need to learn nutrition. So with the sports, I ended up taking a sports trainer certificate. I became a personal trainer, and I helped in my university. I was helping out like elderlies, helping out other diverse athletes with the workout, with the programs.
The University of Bath.
Yes, yes, University of Bath. It's known actually for Olympic athletes, for Great Britain athletes.
Yeah.
So the environment helped me a lot. But then I realized I kept having the same problems as the food. So I ended up studying for sports nutrition, got into reading scientific papers, got into different phases, just to understand more about food and nutrition and stuff like that. And then I realized I still had a problem. Why do I keep, even though knowing what I know, I kept self-sabotaging. And that's when I started my journey towards understanding myself. I went to normal therapists, didn't really work for me, the methods they used. I was like, okay, what's wrong with, I had complex trauma basically, and every time I went, they never gave me something that actually satisfied helped me. Most of them were just listening and not actually giving any useful feedback. So I ended up saying, okay, what shall I do? What's my next step? I need to solve this. So I ended up going on a retreat that was with Matthew Hussey. I don't know if you know Matthew Hussey. He's very well known as a in Hollywood, and he's also a relationship coach. But he
Wow.
was running these retreats. It was the first person that introduced me into the world of personal development. I used to do it beforehand, but on a smaller doses, on a different aspect. So I got into personal development field for a long time now, over 10 years. But like uh, the main trigger that made me change my whole career around was Matthew. So when I went there, I got to know about Tony Robbins, got to know about Dr. Richard Bandler, got to know about NLP world, got to know about the personal development world and helping yourself, learning to help yourself, understanding yourself, emotion and pattern, behavior. And I started healing from within. As I went there, I started going from one world-known coach to another, Brendan Bashard, then got into therapy, Marissa Peer, rapid transformational therapy. That helped tackle a lot of my subconscious beliefs.
What was one
Um,
trait you picked up from each one of them, or what would you say was your takeaway from these retreats, especially the first one? The first one will be always etched in your mind. So, what did
yes,
Matthew Hussey teach you? What did
uh,
in a
a
short?
lot. This is something this is what he's the main person who got me into wanting to do retreats for other people, because I realized retreat is like an intensive brainwash and getting all the old baggage out and then learning all the new skills to help you move on better in life. And this is exactly my dream. This is what I want to do, what I'm working on right now. Inshallah, there will be by the end of the year, you'll hear some news. But
Yeah,
in Qatar for the first time. So it's
I'm
going to
already
be, you
I'm
know,
already a fan. I'm already a fan.
yeah, he's
No,
one
I'm
of those
saying
people.
I'm already a fan of Dr. Aisha.
Oh,
That's what
thank you so much. Sorry, I thought you were
yeah.
talking about Matthew.
No, no.
Um, yes. Thing is, I realized when I went in there, each one I learned so much, and I was like, I can't just keep this to myself. It helped me change my career. One of the pivotal moments while I was doing my PhD, last bit, the last year, I always passed by a morgue from the hospital while I was doing the last. I used to finish I used to go from like 4 or 5 a.m. to the lab and finish by like 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So like a whole day of just work nonstop. And I always pass by a morgue every time to my accommodation, like a 10 minute walk from the hospital to the accommodation. And I remember those nights. I remember I always, when I pass by, it's fine with me. I don't get scared. But I remember it was raining. It was like drizzling in rain. It was around 12:30 in the morning. And you know the street lights of London, UK. It was actually in Exeter at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as I was walking by, this is the first time I see the morgue open the doors, and I saw two guys coming out with a black body bag on a trolley. So on the trolley, when I saw that, I was just looking at them and walking by. This question came to my mind: if I died now, what have I truly left behind? This dawned on me. I went through all my life and I thought absolutely nothing. All my life, I was doing whatever everyone's telling me to do, fulfilling other people's expectations, living someone else's dream, not mine, and what am I really doing all of this for? So it kept me thinking a lot about myself, about my life, reevaluating my whole life and my career path. And I was like, who am I trying to impress? Why am I unhappy? Why do I feel like the walking dead, even though I'm doing something great and I'm discovering stuff, but then why am I not happy? And I realize it's because I'm not giving back. I'm actually I'm living someone else's dream, which was my mom, because my mom, I grew up in this family where you like doctors, lawyers, and they expect and that was a good aim. But then I was like, but what's my natural ability? What's God's gift for me? I realize I'm very artistic. I'm very like I like to express myself in a creative way. I love sciences. I never get bored. I always love learning, but I realize I'm not actually living. I feel like I'm not actually living, being stuck in a lab 24/7 or listening to this and that and doing this and that. And I was like, okay, what do I want to do? What do I want to, how do I want to leave this world? And that's my personal journey started beginning. And I realized when I started seeking Tony Robbins. I went firsthand, learned from him, joined his mastery university. Tony Robbins is the guru of the personal, but he is the one who created the coaching industry. So that's why I never call myself a coach, because I'm not. I'm more of an educator and mentor, and that's a different. It carries a lot more than just a coach, because I do have the experience and also the way to guide in a way by learning from all these experts. But to be honest, carrying that as well, then went to Dr. Richard Bandler. He's the co-founder of neurolinguistic programming, and learned firsthand from him. Got my
Yeah,
master's
yeah,
from
yeah,
him.
doctor, can you give me a rough gist about NLP, just for laymen, for lay people, a textbook for dummies on NLP? How would you?
So basically, yeah, I will explain it as simply as possible. You use language to reprogram your mind. We have different ways of basically changing the way you experience things in life or learning. One of them is repetition, okay, and the other thing is through experience, intense experience. Okay, it changes the way you think about things. uh, NLP, you can use language or repetition of language to actually train, like
Like mantras?
reprogram your mind. You use images and you use language to shift the way your perspective in life, the way you
Like
perceive things.
like mantras? Like mantras?
It's not like mantras. And you can use mantras, but it's not like you use actually, like for example, if you had, I'll give you an example of a phobia. Okay, if someone has a phobia from something, what you do, you take the person into a relaxed state, where they are able to access a certain memory regarding that phobia and how it started. Okay, for example, I'm just giving you a quick example. So, for example, they imagine themselves they're in a theater, so they imagine the incident. But what you do, you try to scramble that memory through language and their imagination through that process. So the way is shifting the way you look at the incident. Uh, the way we process the language of our brain is the images we see in our heads and the words we say to ourselves.
Okay.
This is how we talk to ourselves, the way we process things in life. So if you're able to manipulate that, you're able to manipulate the way you feel about something, the way you behave towards something. And this is basically what we do. And RTT is also includes NLP, Rapid Transformational Therapy by Marissa Peer. She's a world-renowned therapist, respected therapist around the world. She's been only working with celebrities and royalties. She's high-profile, basically individuals, and learning from her. She uses NLP. She uses CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. She uses hypnotherapy. So it's a combination of these things. So I found it more powerful than just NLP. You see, with NLP, a lot of people, if you Google it, it will say it's like a pseudoscience or something like that. That's because there wasn't enough research done about it. If there was enough research done about it, they realize how actually it helps people. And that's one of the things that Matthew Hussey used in the retreat. Helped a lot, not me, 250 other women on the retreat. So what I'm saying is the way you visualize. You use visualization to change how you feel about things and change your reality using language and using imagery. So that's basically, that sums it up basically in a simplistic way. And
Okay.
it's NLP. NLP is also more complex. You get into the way of understanding sound and vision. It gets more and more complicated. But this is the basic stuff.
Okay.
Uh,
Wow. Let's go to a personal question now.
yes,
Doctor, 18 years in the UK.
yes.
I'd call you a British lass right now. But what brought you back to Doha, your homeland?
Uh, Actually, at the beginning, I wasn't planning to come back because I grew up there in a way, and it's not that I didn't want to come. It's just I settled. I felt like I settled there. I got used to the life there. COVID, basically, COVID ruined a lot of things, but actually, it didn't. It was a blessing in disguise in my case.
Wow.
I started a company in the UK. I was having that after I graduated. I went into this area, and the process, the people who were handling my immigration papers and to get me the letter for sponsorship, they turned out to be fraud, and waited till the last minute that I my visa expired. They said, oh, and they wanted to take 30 more grand,
Wow.
30,000 pounds, just to get me a simple letter, which I can get for free. If they said my business proposal was good, then why am I not getting the letter? And yeah, so it turned out to be a scam. I got stuck. I had imagine building the company from scratch with all the paperwork, with all the website development, with everything, and then suddenly you see it crashing down. And this is exactly what happened to me. And at the same time, my father passed away at that time during that tough period as well. So it was a bit of a mess. And my mom said, just come back, and I had to come back. And when I went back, I came back. I realized more people needed my help here than actually in the UK, and I had more blessing coming my way than if I was in the UK. And I was like, you know
Wow.
what? Maybe I'm meant to be here. God brought me after going through all these experiences in my life, and I realized our people need help as well. Like they need the main people that need help. Uh, you see, I'm bridging the gap. My work bridges the gap between uh, having mental health issues, let's say, or general normal mental health
You
issues,
know,
and psychiatry.
sorry to, this is me butting in.
Yeah,
Excuse
go
me.
for it.
Uh, you say your people, but I believe everybody in Doha now needs somebody like you, not just the Qataris, even the
No, I'm
expats.
not discriminatory. Trust me, I'm the last person to have any discrimination whatsoever. I'm like, this is why I don't say about myself or this is the last thing. I grew up in a both a mixed environment, a multicultural environment. So this is the least of my
Yeah,
concerns.
you can't get any more multicultural than London or the UK,
Yes.
perhaps maybe only New York. Yeah. So
So
how have you coped during COVID, and what did you get up to doing, and how are you
well.
experiencing Qatar, your homeland
Well,
after
it's
18
been
years?
it's been a long time. I had to relearn everything, get introduced to the culture again, go back to family home again in the same old room. So it's been emotional, actually mental shock for me. Because imagine you had expectation, you built and worked the whole year on your idea, suddenly you see it crashing down, and then suddenly coming back to the country where you haven't lived in for a long time, and then getting back into the same environment, getting to know everything from start again. It's like it's been it took a toll. So, but at the same time, I got myself active. I focused more on social media. I tried to apply for jobs, but apparently I'm highly qualified. So, like, okay, I still need a job to live, but like it's fine. But actually, that's God's way of closing. Like the way I looked at it is like God's closed all the doors for me except for the entrepreneurship door, or the door to actually do things myself, not rely on anyone, just rely on my brain and my abilities and my skills, and no matter where I am. And that paid off.
Wow.
That paid off because even without having a job, I'm still able to stand on my own feet. I'm able to help other people, which I love doing. This is what I'm passionate about. That's why I love to volunteer a lot. I used to volunteer a
That
lot
was
when
my
I
next.
was.
I was going to catch you there. So,
Yeah.
doctor, I snooped a bit about you on your LinkedIn page because I was not really happy with your bio. I mean,
Okay.
overqualified. So I'm like, no, I want to know more about her. So you have been a volunteer. I love volunteerism, and I have many friends who are volunteers. Some of them who are actually viewing the program right now. They're amazing volunteers. But you have been a volunteer for, I mean, an international volunteer. You have been with the Qatar Red Crescent, the
Yes.
IFRC, which is very
Yes.
interesting too. That's a very nice organization where,
International Federation. Yeah.
yeah, where it amalgamates the Red Crescent and the Red Cross. That's just fantastic. And also you volunteered as a translator for a couple of programs
Yeah, no,
and a
actually, I
first
was
class
translating. It
and a
was a
first
Red Cross.
sponsor.
Yeah, it was translating for the Filipino ambassador who came to Doha, and they put me on the spot because of my language. Even though I was like still new, I was like, okay. And then I ended up actually translating for him and dealing with the press. That was a whole new experience.
Indonesian.
And not Filipino ambassador. It was in 2012.
You speak Tagalog?
No. Translating English to Arabic.
Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
no, Arabic to English. Sorry,
I'm so
Arabic to
sorry.
English.
Yeah, the Filipino ambassador would speak
No,
English.
I don't. I don't say I speak Korean, but no Filipino. Not
Oh
there.
wow, really?
No,
Can you
little bit,
enthrall can you
little
enthrall
bit.
our audience with a few Korean words? Maybe a good morning or a good afternoon or
어,
something.
안녕하세요. 만나서 반갑습니다. 저는 아이샤입니다. 에, but I think I forgot now. My brain
You
froze
know,
for a second.
you can fake it because I don't understand Korean.
No,
Okay,
all I said is just hi. Thank you for. My name is Aisha. Very nice to meet you. Basically, that's what I said.
fantastic. And what's
You're
your
putting
favorite?
me on the spot. It's been a long time now.
Okay, no worries. It's always good to be impromptu. I like to be impromptu. So, Doctor, what is your favorite Korean food?
Oh, bulgogi. And
Okay,
so, I love bulgogi and
okay,
bibimbap. Bibimbap is nice. So
okay, lovely. Are we going back to what you been? How you been coping with COVID, and how did you, when you came into Doha, what have you been doing? And
yeah.
are you going to open your? Are you going to? Have you started your company here? It is a blessing in
This is the
disguise.
plan. I joined Qatar accelerator program for incubators for business startup.
Okay, with another
Um,
Aisha.
no, not to
There's
the.
another the CEO of the incubator program. Isn't she an Aisha also?
No,
Al
not the one. The program I went to. I don't think it's the program I went to.
Okay.
They have different programs there as well. I started this. I'm working on my social media. I went into that. I started building myself up slowly through social media first because I didn't know anything. I wanted to establish myself here, and then started slowly getting to know networking. So getting to know people around, getting to know the culture, the mentality, the work environment, because I didn't know the work dynamic and everything. So this is how I started. COVID did not affect me that much in terms of other aspects, but mostly work related. But it was good as well because I started online. I
Yeah,
could do
yeah,
it
same.
online. So it was for me. It was all right. It's more now about getting myself known, getting myself established, building my. Now I'm working on building my company, and also building a different program. So I'm still finding my way around, but it's getting there. All I want to do is basically transfer the knowledge I've got to our society, to the society of the world, so all over the world, to help them help themselves. This is my main aim. Is I realize we can all manage these problems. We always had disasters, war, death, but it's our way of coping with realities. That's the one that we need to tweak around so we can adapt. We're resilient human beings. God created us that way. We can manage and cope with anything, but it's the people who feel stuck, who feel like, oh, I cannot move on, who hang on to the past too much, or very worried about the future too much. These are the people we need to teach them certain skills that can help them cope with their life better and have better quality of life. Because if they don't, your brain will cause physical diseases. It's all linked. Your mindset, the way your mental well-being is linked to your behavior. Your behavior is linked to also your health. If you're not feeling good, you're probably going to go smoke, shout, anger. This is going to actually affect your physical well-being because the physical feels like the last manifestation of the mental. So if you're able to handle that bit first, then you're able to have more control of the behavior and also the physical aspect of your well-being.
Doc,
Otherwise, it's all affecting each other. So
Doctor,
yeah.
you're having a one-on-one session with me here, and
Really.
the whole world is watching. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, this is wonderful. Uh, Doctor, mind growth and breakthrough strategist.
Yes.
I'm still stuck on that because for me it's such a powerful word and term. And you are working with even people who are overachievers. How do you work with an overachiever? What kind of mindset do they have? Because as an overachiever, please correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
You're a snob already. Maybe you look down upon people. Just maybe I'm thinking differently. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And you negate the small fry. How, what do you bring to the table that they will say, Yalla, I would like to sit down with you? That's some Deutsch there. And tell me.
Yeah, the simple answer to why I chose overachiever is because I'm an overachiever myself. If you see throughout my history, you will see I'm always trying to achieve something, always, always. And to be honest, the reason why people never stop or feel satisfied is the main psychological reason is they feel they're never good enough, not smart enough, not good enough, not, the feeling of not being good enough feels like, oh, I need to compensate. I need to actually work harder so people can appreciate the value. So they gain the value externally, even though the need is internal. Do you get it? So if I'm feeling not good enough, oh, I don't want people to think I'm not good enough. So I try to achieve more and more and more and more. But actually, it stems from childhood. It stems from the caretaker who actually treated you a certain way that made you feel that, and that grew with you. And it's not a bad thing. Actually, one bit the feeling. Dr. Richard Bandler, I went to him and asked him directly, "Oh, how do I get rid of this feeling of not being good enough?" I went to him and asked him, he's like, "Do you really want to get rid of that?" That's the question. I was like, I thought about it. All my life, I was trying to get rid of it. I was like, if I got rid of it, that means I will stop working as hard. I will stop trying to do things and achieve things in life as much. I was like, maybe I don't want to stop feeling that way, but I need to readjust my how it affects my life. So if it started affecting the way I feel about myself and the way I look at myself, if I feel like I'm not good enough in a negative way, then here I need some adjustment. But it's actually a good driver to keep you getting up in the morning and doing something and driving you. And usually the feeling of not being good enough is highly linked to the feeling of not feeling loved. So most of us, our drivers is the feeling of love and connection for what we do. That's what we do that's one of the human needs. We have six human needs. One of them is the feeling of love and connection. And the other one is feeling important. The other one is feeling safe or certainty. The fourth one is feeling the uncertainty, variety. We need changes in our lives. If it's everything is predictable, then it's not going to be nice. And these four are the main ones. And the last two is the feeling of the growth. We are driven by growth and also contribution. We want to give and contribute. These last two are the ones that gives you fulfillment in life. So if you understand what has been driving your life all your life, for me, I realized I thought the feeling of being important. That's why I'm doing all of this to feel important. But I realized no, the main driver was for me to feel loved and connected to other people. That was the main reason why I was doing. Because I felt never good enough. I felt, oh, and that comes from the way your parents treat you as a child. If you punish a child, I'll give you a quick example. I know this is but very, very important point I need to address, especially when you have a child. What do you do if the child did something wrong? Most of the parents will go, Shara, you shouldn't be doing this. This is wrong, blah, 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 right? And if they did well, there's like, well done. They will hug you and kiss you, right or wrong.
Yeah.
That's what they do mostly. But actually, that behavior causes the child, as they grow older, feel, oh, this is something called conditional love. Okay, if you did this, you get love. You didn't do this, you don't get love. And this is where parents go wrong, even though this is very slight, but it affects their personality as an adult. So if the child did something wrong, you know what you do? You should give them still love, but you also show them what they did was wrong. So they don't feel that the love they get from the main source of their caretaker, the love they understand is conditional. That's what when they grow up, they become people pleasers. Because, oh, I need to please you, I need to do this, I will do this, I will do this just for you to be happy. And that comes from the way they treated as a child, from the conditional love. Okay, so it's very, very important. The feeling of not being good enough happens when the most important person in your life as a child, you go to them, Mom, I got 90%, It's like, oh, well done. Why didn't you get 100? Yeah, you see that slight difference? That makes them feel no matter what they did, the achievement they did, it's never good enough. And that applies on other areas in their life. So people, especially parents, I always, the problem, and sometimes I face in our society here, especially in the Middle East, they marry very young, just for the sake of marriage, you know, and that develops a lot of psychological problems in the children because they never learned how to deal with children. So before getting married, I advise everyone to actually take child psychology courses to know how to raise their children well. So they're not becoming in the future aggressive, because aggression comes part of this, dealing with violence, the way you deal with your children, screaming, shouting, beating. This is not good because it creates cases of anxiety, depression as an adult, highly linked childhood trauma. This causes trauma as a child. So it's important for parents, for anyone who's getting married, even just to understand why you are the way you are and how it's been affecting you as an adult, and also how you can, if you got inshallah in the future, if you had children, you can actually know how to deal with them the way that doesn't affect them mentally, so they grow up healthy as an adult. So that's basically it. I wanted to sum it up here.
That's
I
so
hope that was
beautiful.
useful.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, more than useful. Another question I have for you, you know, there's so much of baggage that you carry, as in not just your own or our own baggage, but you're also, accepting other people's baggage, as in, when you're
Oh yeah.
talking to them. How do you unpack?
Hmm.
And another question is, what keeps you motivated? What motivates the motivator?
Okay, for the first question, it's actually it's a hard one. I get affected by other people. I'm a high empath, so I can feel and sense things deeply, and 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 that's a blessing and a curse. Some people call me sensitive for it, you know, and some people don't realize this sensitivity stems from somewhere. But this sensitivity is what makes me good at what I do. It's actually a blessing and a curse at the same time. But the best way for me to get rid of this negative, because what happens is physically you're actually getting charges, negative charges from people getting transferred into you, and actually you're carrying that negativity. So one of the best way to discharge is be in nature. I like to unwind. I like to go for massages. I like to always, after a session, if it was heavy for me, I go to the sea, just sit by the sea, because the sea is a very, very good neutralizer for negative energy. It actually, have you ever wondered why do you go to the sea and get relaxed? You feel like, it's gone. And
Yeah, I
you know
wonder.
why? Do you know why actually?
No.
Your brain has different wavelengths. Okay, you've got the alpha, beta, delta. This is the different ways at which your brain operates. You're daydreaming and everything. You're more in the beta, in the alpha brainwaves. So when you are stressed or focused, you're in the beta, alert, focus mode. When you go there, your actual brainwave, the waves of the sea, switches your brain waves from beta to alpha. So you get into a more relaxed state because of that. The nature itself discharges the negative energy and changes the way your brain operates. That's why it's very useful to actually go and be in nature, and especially by the sea. So this is a little information. I don't know if you knew that or didn't. Some people know, people don't know, but that's why people feel relief after going to the sea and coming back. But that's my way of dealing with it. I do a lot of breathing as well. Uh, I try to keep the work where it is after I finish, not carry it home, because each person already take. I never take two people at the same day. It just drains a lot of my energy. I like to keep my whole focus to one person, and then after that, go away and relax, because I know how it affects my body and my mental well-being actually as well. It affects me because I can see some people I can help, but I cannot, or I can see someone who's really struggling, and I do my best, but there's something in their end. For example, I have to cope with certain traditions, certain ways of them looking at life, and that affects me because I know they can change. I know they can be better, and it affects me. And that's why it's. But I'm being very honest because some people say, no, I'm perfectly fine, you know. But even the therapist needs a therapist. Everyone
Yeah.
needs someone. Every single person needs someone. And you're lying if you don't. You're lying to yourself actually more than other people. So yeah, what was the second question?
Can you
What
give me a
motivates me?
can you give me a second? I'm just soaking all this up. It's just amazing.
Oh, thank you. The
Yeah.
second question I think was
What
what
motivates
motivates
what motivates the motivator?
uh,
High impact.
the impact I make on people, the feedback I get. It's my fuel. You know, when you say, "Oh my God, you changed the way I think. You changed my life. You changed," you know, all of these messages are so valuable to me. When people check on me, "Oh, I haven't seen you for a while. I haven't." It keeps me saying, maybe I am on the right path. Maybe this is what actually I'm meant to be doing. And the difference I make. Sometimes, and the people maybe not immediately, but later on they will message me. I was like, "Oh my God, that session, that even just sitting and talking and just letting things out, that was useful. That was so these little things that keeps me motivated."
I can relate. I can relate. Thank you
Yeah,
so much.
you're welcome.
This is really interesting, and I'm happy I just have you one on one because
Thank you.
we are nearly out of time. But I have 20 more minutes. If you have 20 more minutes,
I'm okay. I'm happy.
fantastic. Uh, the other question for you was actually I don't have to ask you that question anymore. You already answered it. But what is your superpower?
Oh, this is a difficult question. My superpower is, I think, uh, my insatiable appetite for learning and also my never giving up.
Wow,
I think,
fantastic. Can you please repeat that and into the mic again because I want to record
yes,
that.
sorry. I said I think my superpower is my insatiable appetite for learning and also never giving up mindset. Um, Otherwise, I would have given up a long time ago and probably be dead by now. But subhanallah, yani, we're
In that
here always for a reason.
in that Exeter rainy afternoon in that black body bag.
Yeah, that was a pivotal moment actually for
Yeah,
me.
I can
That changed
imagine.
that actually shifted my whole career. After all years, like 30, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna say my age now, but like
Yeah.
um let's just skip the age part. But I think
I'm already calculating.
after 3 decades, let's just put it this way, after 3 decades of being in a particular field for so long, suddenly shifting to a new complete field. That was scary. That was hard. That was uncertain. Like there's a lot of uncertainty, but it's what I'm passionate about. It's what I love, and I can see the impact. If I died doing what I'm doing, I'm not gonna regret it. So
Wow.
that was the question I had in my mind. What would I be regretting? The things that I would regret in my life if I died now, what would I be regretting? What would I be not the things I wanted to do but couldn't do it or didn't do it because of people, because of thoughts, because of people's mindset or perspective or expectations of parents that did not align with who you are and did not align with your soul. You need to be in alignment with your soul in order to be happy. Not even happy, to be content. People say they always look for happiness, but happiness is a cocktail of emotions. It's not a goal. The goal is actually being content with all the different aspects of your life, whether it's health, relationship, finances, career, all of this. Knowing that you accept where you are, gratitude is one of the best things as well to remind you you're okay. To remind you, you know, we in the Quran we have something inna ma'al usri yusra means with every difficulty there is ease. With every difficulty there is ease. Our life, you will have high points and low points, high points and low points. Some people get stuck in the low point and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But that's not true. There's always, if you believe that there is always, with every difficulty, there is ease, there is always hidden opportunities, you know, the way you look at your whole life and the difficulties God throwing you in your way, it's more of an empowerment, makes you grow as a person. I never see obstacles anymore or problems sometimes that happen in my life, even disasters, death, close family, or anything like that. I don't see it as painful as anymore. I see it as, okay, where is the hidden message in this for me? How is this gonna grow me as a person? How can I be more patient? How can I be more resilient to face this? And I know it's part of life. Once you accept that, life will be much easier.
You're getting
So
me.
this is, yeah, this is what, like, I think people need to know about that.
You're making me emotional. Very strong.
Sorry,
Very,
sorry, I'm
very,
making it over.
very powerful. Uh, one more question. I mean, it's been pondering on my mind for some time here. In your bio, you had a very strong thing on neurodegenerative disease. What is
Yeah.
your what do you do? What do you do with that?
In the my degree was in neurodegenerative, like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, like basically more neuro related, more structural disease related, and finding solutions. So if you look at my publications, you can find them online. If you Google me, you can find my publications. It's mostly related to how, for example, I was working on Alzheimer's and cardiovasculature. So it's very heavily scientific, very heavily related to discoveries. So that's what I did before. And I'm proud of myself. I did that, I achieved it, and it was a big achievement. But then my next step was, am I happy? Am I content? And that made the shift and shifted to what I'm doing now. And now I'm more empowering CEOs. I've got different clienteles. I go into business now, so I do deal with business and mindset. So I'm more of a mental health,
Can,
like combined with business.
can I
So
ask
I
you?
help people who are burning out, stress and anxiety. So I'm into that, more of getting clarity, more of getting their way, like, opening up about other things, dealing with past belief system, believing that they're not good enough or smart enough, or believing that, oh, money, I'm too old or I'm too young, to start a business. Or so I'm getting into that myself because I am getting into business as well. So I'm shifting from taking the career of personal development towards the business side of things now.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if you can answer this, or if you're allowed to. But how do you cope with the CEO? Or what do you? I mean, what would you say to a CEO? What would you
they
coach him?
are they are human beings. Human beings are human beings. They have the same problems, they have the same issues. They might wear something better, they might be a certain style, even, but they have the same human nature. They're human beings. They have their own needs, they have the same needs, the same similar problems, the same issues, but a bit bigger scale. So they have multiple, but the way you handle things is the same. And they all struggle, mostly stress, anxiety, handling, prioritizing, you know, um, a lot of childhood issues, some of them. So this needs to be dealt with this because it affects your life as an adult. As I said, most of them who are overachievers, they already have certain issues mentally, emotionally, that keeps them becoming an overachiever, which is a good thing. Being an overachiever is a good thing, but it doesn't mean you see yourself above all. That's narcissism. that's a complete different, you know, that, people not, they think they're the best, and they think, that's a different, let's not get into that. I'm talking about the normal human beings who actually work hard, who actually want to achieve a lot all the time because of the need that's driving them to do that, to feel, oh, I want to leave a legacy behind, or leave. That's part of human nature. Leaving something behind is always been in history. If you look, people drawing, like the arts, the even the pyramids, all of that, it's
Yeah,
part of human nature to feel or leave something, that to feel that your life on this earth matters. So this is what's driving most people. And if you don't satisfy it one way or another, you start feeling low. You lose meaning to life. You don't feel that you're loved. You feel important. You don't feel like you're important. You don't feel like you're contributing. You lose sight, and that keeps people stuck sometimes. Not moving forward in their life.
Yeah.
Um, so I
Wow.
hope that was. I talked a lot. I love talking. That's why I got into this business.
No, I'm, I was just gonna,
Yeah.
I was just gonna tell you this. You read my mind. I was just gonna tell you this could possibly be my only show where I have spoken less and my guests have spoken more. There have been many times where my close friends message me live during the program saying, "Can you keep your mouth shut, Bosco? Let your colleague, let your guests talk." And here you're. It's not you're not giving me an opportunity to talk. I want you to talk because I'm getting a session here from you and my our audience too. So, just a few more questions. Any
Yes.
quick tips or hacks or anecdotes you'd have for an average human being? Not the narcissist.
An average human being. First of all, tip in health generally as a life. First of all, get clarity on who you are and what you want out of your life. This is step number one. Step number two, put in the habits of making yourself feel better along the way. This is your life is a marathon, not a
A race.
not a sprint. It's a marathon.
Yep.
You will find difficulties. You'll find along the way. So make it enjoyable as you go along, and making it enjoyable is by, for example, they can even look it up online. What are the cocktails, the hormones that release the cocktail hormones for happiness?
Dopamine.
You get dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, and y- the way you like certain emotions, like feelings, you release them to do throughout your day. So every day, if you, for example, go to the sun, stay in the sun for like 15 minutes, exercise, making exercise part of your routine is like literally going to a therapist, literally, because it releases so much tension. It also releases all the good hormones. So even having 20 minutes of dancing, zumba, or going to actual workout, or even going to the gym and changing the atmosphere actually helps a lot. Watching comedy, eating dark chocolate.
Thank you.
Oh, food is highly linked to your mental well-being, because most of the food is serotonin is mainly released in the intestines. So make sure. I just read the other day, yesterday, pistachios are very good also to help you with the sleep. If you wanna, like, help
Yeah,
release
yeah.
serotonin. Make sure you wake up and feel
Unsalted,
happy.
unsalted,
And so
unsalted
this
pistachio.
it depends what you are, whether you need it or not. Food is very important. So circadian rhythm is very important. Your the way you sleep, wake up, that
Cycle.
affects the cycle. So if we're looking at it from a holistic way, I'm trying to approach it from a holistic way as an advice. So first of all, mentally understand your goals, understand, have clarity, understand where you are in life, where do you want to go, what do you want to do. Look at your happiness map. What makes you happy? What do you think that if I achieve this, if I achieve this, if I achieve this with this? See, life will always go through things to function. Getting the car, getting the house, they think it's real goal, but it's a means to an end. It's not the end goal. The end goal is to be happy, to feel certain emotions. These emotions are already in you. You can get them out without doing all of these things, just, you know, to satisfy certain people, or you think that's how life should be. No, you make it who you want your life to be, and how you want your life to be. So, as I said, getting your clarity in life, taking care of your mental health and well-being, taking care of your body, like the same as your body. See, if you have a broken leg, okay, people will see you have a broken leg. So if you are shouting and screaming, they will excuse you. Yeah, but people don't see the inner broken bones inside your heart. Or this is a metaphor. There is no bones in your heart, but this is a metaphor. Like they don't see the breaks, the wounds inside you. So when you're reacting, they think, "Oh my God, this person is awful," but it's not actually. You need to heal your wounds that you're unaware of. Heal your inner child. Start your healing journey, because it affects the quality of your life. The quality of our life is the quality of our emotions. The quality of our emotions is the quality of our thoughts. The quality of our thoughts is as a result of what we focus on. The more you focus on what's bad, what's negative, the more you bring it into your life. The more you focus on what's good, you will start having good thoughts. You will start having good emotions. You will start having good life. So I want people to remember that as a whole. So this is my main like
Thank you so
advice.
much. Thank you so much, doctor.
You're welcome. I wanted to know more about you, but like I think we probably ran out of
Yeah,
time. But
well, that is my next question, and I just two because yeah, we have just 4 more minutes, but it's fine. Uh, you get a chance now to take over as the host. So you are Bosco, and I'm not really Dr. Aisha, but be kind. That's all I say. You have a question, you can ask me a question, doctor.
okay, I'll ask you one question since I've hosted before as well as a podcaster. But
Oh
like
yeah, what's the name of
is
your podcast, doctor?
Greatness Mindset with Dr. Aisha.
Do you still
I
you still operate? I mean, does it
I
still?
know I operated actually during COVID when I was in the UK. It was something I needed to. I interviewed really successful people around the world, so you should check it out.
I will. Please send me the link.
Uh, I will, but I stopped this because my life had turned upside down with all the
Okay.
trouble coming back and stuff. But I will resume it, inshallah, shortly, like once I'm more stable. My question to you is, if you were to die today, okay, with all your life experiences, with all your expectations, all the way you look at life, what would be three advices that you will give to people, to your family, to the people, to everyone, that you want them to remember about your whole life journey, about what advice would you give them about whatever you want to give? So, what three advices would you give them to the
From
people
my experience in life,
from
oh,
experience, from what you've learned?
well,
Number
well,
one.
the number one will be always remember me as a jovial person, uh,
Okay.
and I try not to give up, although it's difficult sometimes, and carry on my legacy, which is Big B Meetup and Big B Photography, and helping people and bringing communities closer together. Good question, actually, Dr. Aisha. I wish you told me this before, but yeah, I like that question. I really love it. I really soaked in everything you told me today. And the other advice I'd give my family would be to always stick together no matter what.
Mm,
Always, yeah. Because family is family, we can have ups and downs, we can maybe bash each other up, but at the end of the day, we are family. And very few friends are in the same category there, because sometimes friends, you can bash them up and then, they don't come back,
yeah.
But then there are friends who are really like family and they come back always. Unconditional love.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
uh, you're welcome, doctor. I hope I answered that question to some level of your what you expected.
No, it's perfect. Everyone is different, so it's
Y-
their way of looking at life
Yeah.
and what they want to leave or tell people as an advice.
Yeah.
You know.
True, doctor. This is the last question for you.
Okay.
We always end with a message of love and peace because we always need love and peace in our lives. Don't you agree,
Yes.
Akid? So please give us your message of love and peace. Although everything you said today was love, exuding love and peace.
Mm.
So please give us your message.
About love and peace. Okay. The source of evil is not the lack of. There's a lack of love. There's a lack of love in the world,
Yes.
and a lot of selfishness in the world. I think the more love, the more we give for each other, the better we are as a species. We help each other to grow and survive. In terms of loving is giving, loving is always giving. Giving, I'm not talking about financially, but giving effort, giving words, giving, everyone's got a different love language. Understand what's your love language and understand the other person's love language. Then understand how you can communicate that way. Um, with peace. I don't think God put us on this earth to fight. I think everyone is unique. Everyone's got their own ability in life. Everyone's got their own gifts, their own fingerprint. You need to figure out what's your unique fingerprint. This is your mission, and find a way to give it back to the people, because that gives you more fulfillment and meaning in life, and give you peace, inner peace, because you'll feel satisfied in your life. You'll feel more content in your life. So that's how you I think you get peace, is by being in alignment with who you are. Being knowing who you are and doing the things that puts you in alignment with who you are. And I think that's my main message to people. Don't do something you hate, because
Wow.
life is too short. Life is too short to waste our precious life on things that we hate, because you never know when you're going to die. you know I just want to say one thing. Bob Proctor was talking about, he had a watch, like a sand watch, the one
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
go, you see the
The old
sand.
times.
He says the thing that our focus mostly on the things that it's in the past, that's already gone. The problem is we don't know how much we have left.
Wow.
We don't know how much we have left. So why waste your time on what's gone when you don't know what we have left and you're not living in the present? So it's important for us
Wow.
to realize that we need to live our day. We need to do what we love. We need to be at peace with ourselves by being who we are, and and that's how it is. And try to leave something behind that is uniquely yours. Um,
You
and
know,
that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do.
Doctor,
Uh,
you told me just some time ago that have you noticed you go to the ocean and you feel really relaxed?
yeah.
Well, I think I just went to the ocean for the past 1 hour.
Oh, that is so sweet.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Oh,
you're
that is
welcome.
so lovely.
Yeah. Dr. Aisha, it was an honor and a pleasure, and it was a breakthrough. It was a breakthrough today. The
I'm
guests really
glad.
enjoyed. You can see all their questions and all their answers. I mean, all their
Thank
responses
you
and stuff.
all. Yes, thank you all for the
And
lovely comments.
I'm having a feeling this is not going to be the last. This is not the first and the last time I'm hosting you. And
Inshallah.
I'm working on a wellness episode in physical. It's called Virtue Real, where I go live as well as we'll have people in physical presence. And I'd love for you to be part of the wellness mentality episode, inshallah, maybe
Inshallah.
in September or October. Yep.
Inshallah. Inshallah.
And
Why not?
yeah, we'll grab a coffee together or maybe a latte, a chai, as I'm
Inshallah.
saying
Yeah,
Urdu.
I'm happy
Yeah,
to do so.
great.
Thank you so much. It's been a
You're
great
welcome, and
having
thank you for tuning in, guys, and thank you, Dr. Aisha, for your lovely words and advice.